Imagine waking up one morning and the internet just vanishes. No signal on your phone, no banking, no satellites, no power. And the craziest part? No one knows who attacked first. Half the world is suddenly disconnected. Yet there isn't a single missile crossing the sky or a soldier walking down your street. Now, the terrifying part we're going to uncover in this explainer isn't just that this could happen, it's that parts of this invisible war have actually already begun. Seriously, I want you to really think about that question. We are so used to thinking of conflicts as things we can physically see, tanks, troops, big explosions. But modern warfare has fundamentally shifted. The reality we're dealing with now is completely silent, and honestly, it's way more dangerous because it directly targets the unseen digital foundations that keep our modern lives running. To really grasp what's at stake, we have to talk about something called a digital blockade. This isn't your history book's naval blockade with a physical wall of steel ships. It's a strategy where the main objective is to completely gouge out an enemy's digital eyes. By severing their data, cutting their GPS, and jamming communications, an adversary can completely paralyze entire economies and command centers before a single shot is even fired. Section 1. The AI assassin and bypassing the digital shield. Let's head over to the Ural Mountains to see exactly how this invisible warfare works in practice. So recently, Russia moved its absolute most expensive fighter jets deep into the Ural Mountains, to the Shigol Air Base. They were completely convinced these jets were sitting in an untouchable safe zone. But on April 25th, that safety totally vanished. Ukraine launched these autonomous drones that flew silently right under the radar at low altitudes for 10 straight hours. They covered an astonishing 1,700 kilometers completely undetected. And here is how they actually pulled that off. The Russians had literally spent billions of dollars on layers of electronic warfare and GPS jammers to protect that base, but the Ukrainian drones? They didn't even need a satellite signal to find their targets. Instead of using traditional GPS, they used artificial intelligence to visually read the terrain below them like a map, totally bypassing those billions of dollars in electronic defenses. Bypassing that digital shield had a devastating cost. Ukraine destroyed some of the most highly prized and irreplaceable assets in Putin's arsenal, including Su-57 stealth fighters that run up to $120 million a pop, and they got them while they were just sitting parked on the runway. In a single day, the myth of an impenetrable rear front was completely shattered. Section 2. Gouging the eyes and the invisible U.S. counterattack. Now let's look at a totally different kind of blockade halfway across the world. Recently, when Iranian forces launched a coordinated attack in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. military unleashed an absolute masterclass in this new electronic defense. While destroyers were physically intercepting incoming attack boats on the water, stealth aircraft like F-35s and Growler jets were doing something far more insidious in the sky. They completely flooded Iranian air defenses, turning enemy radar screens into total white noise before the first precision retaliatory strike even landed. By blinding the command centers first, the U.S. essentially fought a ghost war. They wiped out the main naval headquarters at Bandar Abbas, destroyed underground missile silos on Qashm Island, and neutralized critical coastal radar bases. They flawlessly dismantled massive pieces of physical infrastructure without ever putting a single soldier on the ground. And you can see how this military doctrine translates directly into geopolitical leverage. Following those strikes, President Donald Trump issued this statement, making it very clear how this devastating combination, blinding the enemy digitally and striking them physically, is utilized as the ultimate pressure point at the diplomatic table. Section 3. The Pacific Shield, Scaling the Invisible War. Now, imagine taking that exact same blinding technology and scaling it up massively. That is exactly what's happening in the Pacific to counter regional ambitions. The United States has essentially set up a terrifying 1-2 punch over in Japan. In Phase 1, you've got F-35s stationed at Misawa, tasked with electronically penetrating and entirely disrupting enemy networks from hundreds of miles away. Once the enemy is blind, Phase 2 kicks in. Invisible F-22 Raptors launch undetected to go clear the skies. The secret sauce holding all of this together is real-time sensor fusion. These jets are sharing vast amounts of intelligence data with each other, second by second. So in a real conflict in this region, you wouldn't see some dramatic Hollywood dogfight in the clouds. You would just experience a sudden, total communication blackout, followed by strikes from an inescapable, invisible hunter team. Japan is rapidly waking up to this new reality too.
They are executing a historic military transformation right now just to integrate with this massive digital shield. We're talking about a record-breaking $56 billion defense budget, converting their existing ships into light aircraft carriers for stealth jets, and massively deploying their own autonomous drone swarms.
Section 4. When digital lifelines snap, and the economic fallout. Why does any of this military maneuvering actually matter to your day-to-day life? Well, think about what happens when just a physical lifeline is threatened. The moment tensions recently spiked in the Strait of Hormuz, the price of Brent crude oil almost instantly jumped past $100 a barrel. It's a massive domino effect that shows just how incredibly fragile our modern civilization is. A naval blockade halfway across the world spikes global oil prices, which directly drives up the cost of diesel transportation, which instantly means you are paying higher prices for everyday goods at your local grocery store. Now, take that exact same devastating macroeconomic pressure, but apply it to the actual data that runs our world. If a digital blockade permanently severs our lifelines, our modern economic systems wouldn't just slow down, they would structurally crumble. Without GPS, global shipping chains instantly freeze. Without secure data pipelines, the entire international banking sector halts. No digital transactions, no payrolls. A digital blackout completely paralyzes the machinery of modern survival. So the crucial takeaway here is this. The next world war might begin without a single explosion, without a massive ground invasion, and completely without warning. The tools to sever these global connections are already hovering in the sky and patrolling the waters. One morning, the lights may simply go out, and by the time the world understands what happened, it may already be too late. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. How long do you honestly think your city would last if this signal just never came back? Let us know your survival predictions down in the comments. And hey, if you're heading out on a long commute right now, be sure to check out our full deep dives on Spotify to make the journey more productive. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one.